In the annals of history, luxury has always been a mirror reflecting the ambitions, beliefs, and societal structures of civilizations. It was not merely about wealth or opulence, but a complex language through which ancient peoples communicated power, divine favor, and cultural achievements. Today, we journey back in time to rediscover the splendor of ancient luxuries, exploring the intricate ways through which luxury was woven into the fabric of early societies. Egypt, mastery over mortality. In the land of Egypt, where the giant pyramids reach up to touch the sky, people from long ago have a fascinating idea of what it meant to live well, not just while they were alive, but also after they passed away. These ancient Egyptians believed that life went on after death in a place much like Earth, but even better. They thought that to enjoy this afterlife, they had to be buried with all sorts of goods and treasures. Why did they go to such lengths to fill their tombs with riches? It all comes down to their belief in the afterlife. They thought that after death, they would enter a new world where they could continue doing the things they loved, like eating, drinking, and being with their families. To make sure they could enjoy this next life, they filled their tombs with food, gold, statues, and even their favorite pets. The pyramids, some of the most amazing structures ever built, were giant tombs for the pharaohs, the kings of Egypt. These weren't just simple graves, they were like palaces for the afterlife, meant to show how important and powerful the pharaohs were, even in death. Inside these tombs, there was something called the Book of the Dead. Despite its spooky name, it was actually a guide to help the dead find their way in the afterlife. This book was a collection of spells, maps, and advice. Each one was specially made for the person who had died, like a personalized guidebook to the next world. The Egyptians were masters at making beautiful things, and they put some of their best work into the items they buried with the dead. They made jewelry from gold and precious stones, believing these materials had magical properties to protect and help the dead in their journey. They also made small figures called shaptis, which they believed could come to life in the afterlife to work for the deceased, doing any hard labor for them. But all this effort brings up a big question. Did the ancient Egyptians find a way to enjoy luxury forever, beyond even death? They certainly hope so. By creating these incredible tombs and filling them with treasures, they aimed to secure a comfortable and happy existence in the world beyond. This ancient way of honoring the dead tells us a lot about what the Egyptians valued: family, comfort, and the joy of living. It also shows us how deeply they believed in life after death, a belief so strong it led them to build some of the most enduring monuments in human history. The Egyptians' preparations for the afterlife invite us to think about our own views on life, death, and what comes next. Their incredible tombs and the treasures within them remind us that the desire to live well, to enjoy beauty and comfort, is as old as civilization itself. They believed in a life beyond this one, a life of eternal luxury, and they used all their skills and wealth to make sure they could enjoy it to the fullest. Greece, the pursuit of perfection. In ancient Greece, luxury wasn't just about having the finest things. It was about reaching for excellence in every part of life, a concept they called arete. This wasn't about showing off wealth, but about finding the best within oneself and the world. The Greeks believed that true luxury was found in the beauty of ideas, the strength of the body, and the wisdom of the mind. The Parthenon, a magnificent temple sitting high on the Acropolis in Athens, is a perfect example of this. It was built to honor Athena, the goddess of wisdom and warfare, and it shows just how much the Greeks valued beauty and balance. Every column, statue, and step was designed with care, making the whole building a masterpiece of harmony and proportion. It's like a poem made of marble, celebrating the gods and the greatness of the city of Athens. But Greek luxury wasn't only about what they built. It was also about how they lived and what they celebrated. The Olympic Games, started in honor of Zeus, the king of the gods, were a festival of physical strength, skill, and spirit. Athletes from all over Greece trained hard to compete, not for money or prizes, but for the honor of being the best. Winning at the Olympics was a sign of arete, showing that you had reached the peak of human achievement. The winners were given crowns made of olive leaves, a symbol of peace and victory, and were hailed as heroes by their fellow citizens. These games were more than just a competition. They were a way for the Greeks to show the world what they valued most: excellence, honor, and the joy of achievement. They believed that by pushing the body and mind to their limits, people could become the best versions of themselves. This belief in the power of human potential is what made the Olympic Games a key part of Greek culture. For the ancient Greeks, luxury was also in the way they thought and learned. They loved to ask big questions about life, the universe, and everything in it. Philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle spent their lives thinking and teaching others about what it means to live a good life. They believed that understanding the world and our place in it was the highest form of luxury because it enriched the soul and helped people live better lives. So, when we look back at ancient Greece, we see a culture that found luxury not in gold or jewels, but in the pursuit of excellence, the celebration of beauty, and the quest for knowledge. Their legacy teaches us that the most valuable luxuries are those that bring out the best in us, challenge us to grow, and help us see the world in new and wonderful ways. Rome, the empire of excess. The Roman Empire, a vast and powerful domain, was a place of amazing contrasts where the quest for luxury reached new heights. This world was filled with grand buildings and stunning public works that showed off the wealth and engineering skills of the Romans. Their love for luxury could be seen everywhere, from the private homes of the rich to the bustling public spaces where people gathered. The wealthy Romans lived in large, beautiful houses called villas. These homes were much more than just places to live. They were a sign of the owner's wealth and good taste. The walls of these villas were decorated with paintings called frescoes that showed lovely scenes from nature, myths, and everyday life. The floors were covered with mosaics, which are pictures made from tiny colored stones, arranged to make beautiful designs. But Roman luxury wasn't just for the rich and powerful. It was a part of public life too. The public baths, or thermae, were like huge leisure centers where people went to relax and meet friends. These baths were an engineering wonder, with heated pools, steam rooms, and even places to exercise. They showed how much the Romans valued cleanliness, health, and enjoying life together. Everyone, from the poorest citizens to the wealthiest, could use these baths, making them an important part of Roman society. The Romans were also great builders, creating amazing structures like aqueducts, which brought fresh water from far away into cities and towns. This water was used for the public baths, fountains, and even private homes, making life more comfortable and luxurious for many people. However, the Roman Empire had a darker side to its love of luxury. The Colosseum, one of the most famous buildings from ancient Rome, was a place of incredible engineering and design, but it was also where violent games took place, including fights between gladiators and battles with wild animals. These events were very popular and drew large crowds, but they also showed a less pleasant side of Roman life, where violence was often entertained. This mix of beauty and violence, of public luxury and private wealth, makes the Roman Empire a fascinating study in contrasts. It shows us that luxury can mean different things to different people, and that it's not always about having the best of everything. Sometimes, luxury is about enjoying the simple pleasures of life, like a warm bath or a beautiful view. But it also reminds us that the pursuit of luxury can sometimes lead to darker, more violent paths. The story of luxury in ancient Rome is a reminder of the complex ways that people have always sought to make their lives better, more beautiful, and more enjoyable. It's a tale of incredible achievements and troubling contradictions, showing that the desire for luxury is a powerful force that has shaped human history in many ways. China, harmony and hierarchy. In the heart of ancient China, known as the Middle Kingdom, the concept of luxury was far more profound than merely owning expensive things. It was about creating a world where everything was in perfect balance. The Forbidden City, a breathtaking palace in the center of Beijing, wasn't just a home for the emperor. It was a masterpiece that showed how the Chinese believed heaven and earth should be connected. The Forbidden City was huge, with hundreds of beautiful buildings surrounded by tall walls. It was designed very carefully, using feng shui, an ancient Chinese idea that says the way things are placed can affect your luck and happiness. This place was meant to be a model of the universe, showing how everything could live in harmony. The emperors who lived there were thought of as the link between heaven and earth, and their home needed to show that balance. Now, let's talk about silk, one of the most famous things to come from ancient China. Silk wasn't just a type of cloth. It was a symbol of how humans could work with nature to create something beautiful and useful. To make silk, people in China raised silkworms, feeding them leaves from mulberry trees. Then, they carefully collected the cocoons these worms made, unwound the delicate threads, and wove them into fabric. This process took a lot of skill and patience, But the result was stunningly beautiful silk that was soft, light, and strong. Silk became so valuable that it was used as money, and it helped connect China to other parts of the world through trade routes called the Silk Road. People in places far from China heard about this amazing fabric and wanted it for themselves. Silk was so special that, for a long time, only the Chinese knew how to make it. It was a secret they kept for hundreds of years. In China, wearing silk was a sign of your status and importance. The clothes people wore showed their place in society, and silk was reserved for the very top levels, especially the royal family and high-ranking officials. These silk garments weren't just fancy clothes, they were loaded with meaning. The colors, patterns, and designs on the silk told a story about who you were and the virtues you were supposed to have, like wisdom, bravery, and kindness. This way of thinking about luxury, where beauty and moral goodness go hand in hand, shows us something special about ancient China. For them, being surrounded by beautiful things like the Forbidden City or wearing silk wasn't just about showing off. It was a way to live in harmony with the world and the people around them. It was about making life on Earth as perfect and balanced as the stars in the sky. Through the grandeur of the Forbidden City and the elegance of silk, ancient China teaches us that true luxury is living in a way that brings peace, balance, and harmony to our lives. The Americas, splendor and spirituality. Before the big ships from Europe sailed across the ocean to the Americas, this land was full of rich cultures and civilizations, each with its own way of seeing the world and what it means to live a good life. Among these cultures, the Aztecs and Incas stood out for their amazing buildings that seemed to touch the sky and their beautiful gold work that was all about honoring the sun and the gods. The Aztecs, who lived in what is now Mexico, built a huge city called Tenochtitlan, right in the middle of a lake. They made incredible temples and pyramids, showing their deep respect for their gods and the universe. For the Aztecs, gold wasn't just something pretty to look at. It was sacred, shining like the sun, which was super important in their religion. They used gold to make special things for their gods, hoping to keep the world in balance and make sure the sun would rise every day. Farther south, in the mountains of South America, the Incas built an empire with amazing cities like Machu Picchu, high up in the clouds. They were brilliant engineers, making roads and bridges that connected their vast empire. Just like the Aztecs, the Incas loved gold and silver, but not because they wanted to be rich. They believed these shiny metals were gifts from their gods, the sun and the moon, and they used them to decorate their temples and make offerings. But when the Europeans arrived, they brought with them a very different idea of what it means to have luxury. To them, gold was a sign of wealth and power, something to be taken and used to show off their own importance. This clash between the Europeans, who wanted gold for its value, and the indigenous people, who saw it as something holy, led to many conflicts and changed the way of life for the Aztecs and Incas forever. This big change makes us think about what luxury really means. Is it about having lots of things like gold and silver, or is there more to it? The stories of the Aztecs and Incas show us that luxury can also be about what we believe in and how we connect with the world around us. It's not just about what we can see and touch, but also about the ideas and values that we hold dear. These ancient civilizations remind us that sometimes the most precious things are those that bring us closer to each other and to the earth, not just the things that can be bought and sold. In conclusion, as our journey through the ancient world of luxury comes to a close, we're left to ponder the enduring legacy of these civilizations. Their monuments, art, and cultural achievements continue to fascinate us, not just as relics of wealth, but as expressions of human aspiration, creativity, and the eternal quest for meaning beyond the material. Luxury, as we've seen, is a complex tapestry that encompasses not only wealth and opulence, but also ideals of beauty, power, spirituality, and harmony. It is a reflection of the human condition, a marker of our achievements and often our excesses. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of ancient luxury. If this journey into the past has sparked your curiosity, and you wish to delve deeper into the stories and legacies that have shaped our world, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your support enables us to continue uncovering the mysteries and marvels of history. Subscribe now, and together, let's keep the spirit of discovery alive.